What's up, guys? Jim from Wellbeing here. Welcome back to a brand new episode of The Unseen Battles. We've got a very, very special guest today. But before we get into my guest, I'm going to talk about the Hot Tag Foundation. As you guys know that have been here before, the Hot Tag Foundation is a non-profit organisation based here in the UK that aims to share wrestling with children across Britain, particularly those in need. The way that the Hot Tag Foundation do this is by collecting donations of wrestling items such as toys, merchandise and other wrestling related goods, personalizing and packaging these donations and distributing them to children and young people, most often around the seasonal holidays such as Christmas and things like that. And also they do it at events, sometimes in partnership with hospitals and other charities to reach children undergoing treatment. In essence, the Hot Tag Foundation leverages the appeal of professional wrestling to young people with a sense of real life superheroes, especially those facing challenging circumstances. I've got a 2-minute clip for you guys here, which is going to explain it a bit more better than what I've just done. It's also going to give you a list of the professional wrestling companies up and down the UK with a little QR code in the corner for you guys to check out. Hopefully at the end of this episode, because this episode is going to be a very unique one and it's going to be a banger. So yeah, we'll see you in 2 minutes, guys.
Ready for
There you have it, guys. That is the Hot Tag Foundation, along with all the fantastic UK wrestling companies and their QR code and links. So, guys, on today's episode of The Unseen Battles, I've got a very special guest today, guys, because usually when we have The Unseen Battles, we have wrestlers, we have wrestling fans, we have announcers, we have commentators, we have everyone within the wrestling industry itself. But this is a very unique guest. Ladies and gentlemen, it is Mr. Adam Jellett, PT. Adam, how's things?
Yeah, really good, thank you. And thank you for having me on. I know, obviously, I was meant to come on a few weeks ago, but I kind of had a few health issues kind of thing, like kind of ill a little bit at the time. But really glad to be here now. I'm really looking forward to speaking to you.
Thanks so much for the kind words, mate. It's an absolute pleasure having you on, Adam. So, obviously, as you mentioned, that we were supposed to have this a couple of weeks ago, and I do understand, and I do hope that you are better this time around.
Yeah, much better.
Fantastic, mate. So to start off, Adam, could you tell us what was it that drew you to professional wrestling? Is it something that you've loved ever since you were young, or is it something that you've like sort of fallen into as an adult?
So originally it was a friend of mine who got me into it. He's not actually into it as much anymore. but it must have been when we were about 10 to 12 years old. I would always go around there, and I'm sure you've probably played the SmackDown Here Comes the Pain game and stuff like that. Yeah. So we used to play that all the time, have like sleepovers, staying up till midnight, playing all that and stuff. And yeah, that was great fun. I used to collect the wrestling figures and had like a ring as well, made my own little matches and kind of storylines and stuff. And yeah, like just loved it ever since then. So that was probably around the early 2000s kind of mark. As I was getting a little bit older, it was kind of like one of those things that I still always enjoyed, but going into like deeper into school and stuff, it was seen as that kind of like uncool thing that you shouldn't really talk about, because otherwise people are going to make fun of you, and like it's not the thing that you should be talking about. It should be football or rugby or something like that. And I think it's only really recently in the last couple of years or so, especially since I've started more of this online coaching, that I've actually felt more comfortable to start talking about it more and not really caring what other people think. Because I know, again, from speaking to other people, there's a lot of other people in the wrestling side of things that don't speak about it, because again, it's one of those things, it's hard to find people that actually care or listen about it. So yeah, I think that's the main thing for me, was just ever since then, I've always loved it. It's just trying to find the right people to be around like yourself, that we can actually talk about it in detail.
Yeah, absolutely, mate. So what was it that made you become a personal trainer? Is it something that you've always, is it something you've always wanted to do? Is it something that you were coached when you were first becoming sort of like a late teenager, and then you want to try your hand? Is it? Can you discuss that journey with it?
Yeah, and again, that came from like when I was younger. I've always loved fitness. I've always loved sports. I've not always been great at it, but I've always kind of just liked being a part of it. I've always wanted to do the PT side of things. I've always known, again, since school, that I've wanted to get into it. But back then, back in kind of like 2000s kind of area again, it was seen as one of those jobs where you're never going to make good money in it. And like, again, it's not all about the money. But if you went into like a job role, it was either like you went self-employed or you went into some kind of employed status, but they would take like half your money from you as well. So for me, it was, I've always known I wanted to do it. It's a struggle as to like how to get into it. But for me, I did my fitness instructing level 2 course in college. So that was paid for and sorted with that. My level 3 PT course, I actually got through an apprenticeship through one of my full-time works, because I was trying to get in the gym there and they still wouldn't have me there. But then I only actually got my first PT job back in 2019, just before COVID hit and everything. But again, as soon as I started in that gym, like it was only a small gym as well, probably you could probably fit maybe 20 people in there at a time, if that, maybe. But yeah, as soon as I started that, as soon as I picked up a few of my clients, I was just like, yeah, I need to be doing this long term. I did venture out of it again for a while, because I had to kind of like get some money in, had to go to things that were paying a little bit better. But now I found like a happy sweet spot where I can balance PT. I'm starting to develop into the online coaching, which is more about what my handle is there, Wrestling Inspired Fit Mind. It's crossing over the online coaching, mental health, and also wrestling fan kind of topics all in one.
Absolutely, mate. So obviously when it comes to your clients, we discussed this a little bit just before we came on. You mentioned that you have your non-wrestling fan clients, and then you have your wrestling fan clients. Could you explain to people what how you differentiate that and sort of thing? And if someone isn't a wrestling fan and then they decide to become a wrestling fan, how do you sort of like differentiate the way that you teach them and train them?
It's really interesting, actually. Like I never thought of someone in my group already not a wrestling fan potentially becoming one. I think the only thing that would be different is the wrestling references. So again, I can give them plans and stuff. With the wrestling fans, I can give them more plans based around specific actions that would mimic like what their favorite superstars would see. Whereas, again, people that don't necessarily like wrestling don't need to have that reference put in. Like they can just kind of go, okay, I know that this is something that I want to do for shoulders, or for example. So I've got 2 separate group chats. One is for everyone, so that'd be wrestling fans and non-wrestling fans. But as a whole, that's a bit more of a lively group at the moment, where people are talking about their mental health, they're supporting each other, they've got questions in there, and it's a safe space where people can kind of talk about anything they want without feeling judged. So whether that's their favorite sports, whether it's favorite hobbies, their mental health struggles, but we're constantly talking about problems people have in there, like they don't feel good enough, they don't feel confident enough. Just recently, one of my online clients that isn't a wrestling fan had a problem with wearing type of leggings. So they would always wear trousers in the gym, but they wouldn't necessarily want to. They would want to wear the leggings, but they were worried about what people were going to say. So they worked with me and they worked with the group as well. They kind of encouraged this person to wear the leggings, and that's then helped them kind of feel better about themselves as well. So I guess in answer to your question, no one's exempt from either group, but as long as you are interested in wrestling or don't mind the wrestling references, you're welcome in both. However, the better chat for people that aren't wrestling fans would be the general chat. So then the people in the wrestling fans chat can have a bit more of like a hobby-based talk with that side of things, as well as working on their goals as well. There's no reason why the chats couldn't be interlinked for some people.
Definitely, mate. So when you have your clients who are wrestling fans, you mentioned that you use certain phrases or you use certain lingo from wrestling. Can you give us a couple of examples as to what type of phrases that you'll use?
I think memes are like my favorite thing. So I've started up a free 14-day challenge today, actually. And I've got some people on there that are like really starting to engage well. Again, this is all like free coaching, so they're not actually my clients at the moment. Hopefully, potentially at the end, some of them might be. But as soon as I first started this group, I put a picture or a meme of Triple H in the Degeneration X with like, "Are you ready?" So just something like that gets them hyped, because they kind of like, I didn't even need the voiceover or anything. It was just like everyone's going to know what that means. And then throughout the challenge and stuff as well, I'm going to be referencing just like different activities and stuff as well. So a post I put up again a few weeks ago was, I don't know if you know what the captain's chair is in the gym. So it's one where you're holding onto the frame, bringing your knees up. And I kind of made a wrestling reference through that, saying if you want your abs to feel like Finn Balor has coup de grace onto your abs, give this a try. So that's how I would integrate it in. I'm trying to think of more examples as I go along, as to like exercises that relate a little bit to fitness and stuff as well. Finn Balor's a huge one as well in terms of like wrestling references, because I don't know if you've seen his it's called unilateral training or offset training. So you probably would have seen it if you've seen Sheamus's YouTube channel. But with that side of things, Finn Balor trains one side only. So he'll get like a farmer's carry trap bar deadlift, but he'll only have weight on one side. So the other side will have nothing on it. And I will say with this, just make sure obviously that you are practicing this and training safely, because it is something that can go wrong, which is why he does it. Obviously, he's a trained professional. I have tried something similar in the past, and it is very, very tough to do. So it's not something that if you're a very beginner to the gym, you should try. But if you've got someone there that can kind of like help safely spot you, then it's definitely fun to try and see the difference between having weight in one hand and weight in nothing in the other, and swapping it over after. I'm not sure if that answered that question or not.
Yeah, of course. So obviously, you don't have to go into this if you don't feel comfortable doing. Could you share with us all a client's triumph story? So, like, if they've been a certain weight, they wanted to get down to a certain weight, they wanted to accomplish a certain goal. What sort of like method did you use for that person, and what was the end result?
So this one isn't a wrestling fan. I'll keep them anonymous for that. But they were someone that started with me at the beginning of this year, so January, and they had a lot of weight to lose. So I can't remember the exact weight that they were, but that it was a lot that they wanted to lose. Fast forward to now, they have lost over 2 stone, so they've been doing really, really well with that. But they've, in their own words as well, they have been inconsistent in parts throughout this whole time. So it's not about being absolutely perfect, going from A to Z as quickly as possible. it's about kind of, okay, you might get to A to B, and then you might hit a road bump in C where something goes wrong and you have to kind of like steer off a little bit. So then you have to try and like find the route back on, which is again where my coaching comes in a little bit, because some people don't know how to do that. Again, if you hit January and like you try and do everything and then you get steered off and you do nothing, you need a coach or someone supportive there that's been there and done that to kind of like guide you back on the right path. So she took out me as a coach this year, and normally she probably would have been one of those ones that, like, in all honesty, failed. Like, got to the end of January, didn't bother doing anything else. A couple of months went by, and it was her own decision. Like, so again, I'm not necessarily pushing for this, but she decided to then stop her depression medication because she kind of had enough of it. She was seeing so many good changes from like using the gym more, like doing more daily activity. And again, she still wasn't hitting 8,000 to 10,000 steps, which is kind of what most people say the average is. So she had like a sedentary job where she was sat down quite a while. She couldn't get all her steps in. So she was probably hitting a good 2,000 to 4,000 most days. But just the fact that she was doing more gym workouts more consistently, gradually, sometimes that would only be 1 or 2 a week, but that would be more than what she was doing before. So that would be how her initial weight loss started. And then as she started losing more, she kind of started gaining more confidence. She then started feeling like it was still a little bit about the weight loss, but it wasn't her sole reason. It was like her whole persona had changed. Like, she was becoming more confident in herself. Like, she still has mental battles and stuff as well, which again, that's what the group's for. That's what I'm for. We're there to kind of make sure that she isn't, like, she and everyone else aren't alone. Like, it's not just, oh, I feel anxious or depressed today, I've got to do this all on my own and I can't share it with anyone. Like, the group is there to be shared and like judgment free as well. So yeah, like with the support of the group, she's built up so much. And now it's got to the point where, because they're in-person clients, they can actually meet up in person as well at the gym that I go to. And she's built up the confidence to, instead of just going to the gym just for our PT sessions, she's now going with different members of the PT group and saying, I'm going to the gym at 7 o'clock in the morning. Can you meet me there? Or who wants to meet there? I've got clients doing workouts together. So instead of them doing nothing and feeling unmotivated, they're both there, sometimes feeling unmotivated, but they're both there together and kind of like supporting one another and making sure they get the necessary stuff done. I think the best way to describe it, again, trying not to be too blunt, but also in a coaching mindset, is a lot of people either don't know what they're doing or they try and make excuses as to why they can't do something. And again, I think this client in particular probably didn't know how to kind of make it consistent because, again, there's so much information out there, but also probably made excuses of the fact of, well, my job's too busy, I'm sat down all day, so I can't get more steps in. But now they would look back at that and they would kind of probably laugh at themselves for saying something similar to that, because it's just like you have to kind of fit in stuff where you can. It's not about waiting until you've got time, which I hear all the time. It's about making it fit your lifestyle, whether that's busy, whether it's like free reign, like you've got loads of time in the day. It's about fitting the workouts and nutrition side of things and mental side of things into your day, as it were.
Absolutely. But so I've got a comment here from, I believe it's someone who is one of your clients, Shane Jordan Swift. Says happy to
Oh, no.
be part of.
Sorry, he's not a client. He's in the challenge at the moment, though. So
welcome to the channel, Shane. If you want to put a question towards Adam, just put it in the comments, bud, and we'll get to Adam, time depending. So what would you say the common fitness struggles or goals that you specifically see with a wrestling fan, and how detailed are your approach to resonate with them?
So the funny thing is, I got this idea from someone else that I saw online. They were a big Warhammer fan base, and they were an online coach in that side of things. So they are one of the people within the mentorship that I'm part of as well. So I got the idea from that. So I only started my wrestling online coaching page back in April, but since then, like I've seen so much more traction from that, because it's something that I'm passionate about, but also I know kind of what to look out for roughly. So with the wrestling fan base, I know a lot of people do struggle with their mental health, their physical health, their emotions. A lot of them, again, they might not say that they've got the money to put towards coaching or towards even just any kind of support that they might want, but then they're willing to go and spend loads into tickets and stuff like that, and merchandise and t-shirts and stuff. So I'm looking for someone that is potentially overweight, like not necessarily always, but usually a lot of the fan base can be overweight. A lot of them don't really do the gym or don't know how to use the gym. So I'm looking for someone that looks like they're on a fitness journey, but is frustrated. So if I look at their profile and they've been to the gym and they're like, oh, I've gone up 1 or 2 pounds or down 3 pounds this week, or I can see whether it's like fluctuating quite a lot. So preferably I look for a wrestling fan that is on a fitness journey of some kind, because then I can see that they're a bit more serious about wanting to actually change. But there's also people that don't actually know they want to be on a fitness journey until they're asked. Like I've messaged hundreds of people, maybe even thousands of people since April. And there's so many people that are like, oh yeah, I've got no goals, or I don't know what I want to do. And it's only when I've broken it down and said like, well, would you like to be working on goals? Then they kind of go, oh, well, yeah, maybe actually, like maybe I want to lose some weight, or maybe I want to build some muscle, or maybe mentally, like I don't have any confidence. I feel anxious. I feel very depressed all the time. So I'm looking for someone that is kind of me, like back a few years ago, really, like someone that hasn't got any confidence. I still don't have a load of confidence. I don't know if it comes across like I do or not now. This is me at a much more confident level compared to where I was. Back in school, I was like the quiet kid that wouldn't say hi to anyone, was kind of like keep myself to myself. Even into college and stuff as well. It's only been the last few years since I've got into the fitness side of things that's really helped me grow my confidence. So I think that is kind of what I'm looking for, is me as a wrestling fan out there who wants to build their confidence, who wants to feel good in themselves, and also someone who doesn't want to kind of rely on other people's opinions to feel good about themselves. So being a mental health and exercise coach, I don't just focus on people's before and afters, which you won't see loads of before and afters on my page, because I don't want to be focusing as I don't want it to be a body image contest kind of thing. I want it to be you're feeling better mentally. I want it to be you're feeling more confident. You want to be hitting like personal bests. You're fitting into clothes that you've never fit into before, which again, some of my clients have just recently done as well. So that's what I'm looking for in a wrestling fan client or potential person to work with, is someone lacking confidence and wants that support with their mental and physical health.
Absolutely, bud. So Shane has sent another comment in saying, that's me. I don't have confidence now, and I used to years ago have a lot of positivity. So when you have when it comes to obviously a clientele or someone that's doing the challenge, what do you think is the main would you say that improving mental health is the main goal of the sessions itself?
Yeah, I think it is, but I don't think people realize it is until, like, especially in person side of things. Like, a lot of people will say, oh, I want to lose X amount of pounds. But that still goes for online as well, to be fair. But because I've been doing in person longer, I've seen it a lot more in person. But the same thing goes online. People always say, like, as soon as I say, what mental health and physical health goals have you got? It's always, I want to lose X amount of pounds, or I want to look like my favorite wrestler. It's never I want to feel good about myself or confident in myself or have better self-esteem, or I want to look in the mirror and not feel shy or hate what I see back to myself. And again, that's what my mental health qualification, like coaching qualification, is different to just a regular PT qualification, because a lot of PTs will just focus on the before and afters. They'll focus on the fitness transformation. And again, that's all good. That is really, really good to focus on that. But it's not enough for some people, especially in the wrestling industry, the wrestling fan industry, because a lot of them, it's not good enough just to kind of look good. They have to feel good about themselves as well. So a lot of them might wear extra large t-shirts and stuff like that. They might hate how they look and how they feel, but all they're focused on is the weight side of things. slowly they start realizing that once they start feeling good in the clothes they're wearing and like being a bit more of a social person in their group and not relying on other people to make them feel confident and better about themselves, they can actually talk to themselves more positively. That's the real change that I'm looking for. Like, it's really hard to showcase that on Instagram as well, because you're just swamped by people with before and afters all the time. Because like, I'm sure you've probably seen as well, like whenever people look for fitness transformations, they always look for like who's got the abs, who's got the like lighting benefits and stuff like that, who's got the best A to B kind of thing. It's good to have that, but you forget about all the mental side of things as well, alongside with that.
Absolutely. So what would you say is your biggest pet peeve when it comes to being a PT?
Good question. I think the industry itself, to be fair, like as much as I love the PT and fitness industry, it's just so messed up. Like, there are so many people making stuff up. There's people that aren't qualified still giving their coaching programs out because they've got themselves in shape. So, and I've seen this before as well. Someone who like you can speak to, you might get on with them really well. They might get on with your program and stuff really well, but they're more focused on the person with the 6 to 8 pack abs. They're focused on the person that can pose in a mirror like this and look really strong and confident. But really, that person that's selling the program hasn't got qualification, isn't confident in themselves, but they've used that photo to kind of make it portray as they look confident. Whereas the stuff that I put out there, and not just me, there are other people as well within the same situation. There's more mental health and exercise coaches as well. They try and portray the benefits that our clients see mentally, like with their confidence and stuff as well. But it never gets the eyes and attention that it deserves, like, because people want that physical transformation. If like, you could do this as an exercise as well. If anyone's watching or listening at the moment, if you went and opened up Instagram and typed in fitness or exercise, I can guarantee you the first 9 posts or so are probably people topless or like as little clothing as possible, ripped, probably photoshopped as well, or like tanned and stuff. So that's my biggest pet peeve, is the fact that the fitness industry is so far gone from what should be healthy and fitness related as well. But yeah, there's many peeves, but I think that's the biggest one.
Absolutely, mate. So we've got another comment from Shane, and I think this would be good for a bit of advice from you, Adam, if that's okay. So Shane says, my phobia is the gym, the not knowing where to start and what to do. Since my confidence was knocked from a PT in the gym, I avoid the gym now. What sort of advice would you give to Shane on that one, bud?
I would say that, first of all, the gym isn't for everyone. So you don't have to necessarily be in a gym to... Would you mind keeping the message up, if that's all right? Just because I will forget things very quickly. Like, the gym isn't necessarily for everyone. So something that I will say is you don't have to get fitter and healthier in a gym. Obviously, I'm really, really sorry to hear about the PT side of things knocking your confidence. I don't know what they did or said. But any good PT wouldn't be knocking your confidence. Like, even if they gave you something that set you back, maybe you had an injury, or maybe they said something that might have been a bit offensive or knocking your confidence, they should be trying to fix that and find a resolution for that, not just leaving you to that and kind of like leaving. You'll be surprised as well by how many people in the gym have never had an induction, never spoken to a PT, especially in like the big box gyms, like the Gym Group and stuff. Like, I've worked in them before, and there's so many people that I've never spoken to as well. So there will be people that go in and out the gym that have no idea what they're doing, but won't have the guidance of someone to speak to. And all it takes is a conversation sometimes, but people are too scared. They don't really know who to talk to. They don't see anyone to talk to sometimes. And again, it comes from a PT side of things, especially potentially with this person, with the fact that the PT may not have been caring enough as well. So I would say maybe start with home workouts, start with walking outside, and especially while it's darker, try and get some sunlight through the day if you can. If you don't know where to start and what to do, that's obviously like you're part of the challenge that I'm doing at the moment. So you can ask me and speak to me about that as well. But anyone that like might have the same situation that doesn't, you can feel free to DM me and we can kind of go through that. There are a load of YouTube videos and stuff online as well, which again, like, I'm not saying just go and do a YouTube video, because like that's what a lot of people do say online. They just say, I'll go and watch a YouTube video, it's cheaper than a coach and stuff like that. But you're going to get the best results and the best coaching advice when you invest into that coach that can put more time into that side of things. And this isn't me plugging myself. This is like for coaches in general. Like, you're going to get better results by taking a coach or a PT that you've done some homework on and kind of understood like what it is they're going to help you with. A lot of people, again, go for the PT that looks the best, but you need to find the PT or the coach that is going to treat you the best and kind of like work towards your goals. So something that I pride myself on is I will always try and push my clients to do whatever they can safely, but also I'm open to listening to them as well. So if they've got a problem, I'm not one of these ones that's going to force you through burpees if you don't like it. Like, it's good to do and it's good to learn. But at the same time, if your confidence is going to be knocked, like, I'm not going to force you to do tracking calories. Again, as much as it is beneficial, if you've got potential eating disorders and stuff like that, there's no point doing it, because you're just going to set yourself back further as well. So again, I don't know what your confidence was knocked by with that PT, but just be assured that not all of us are like that. And it's just finding the right person for that. If you don't like the gym, or if you've got a phobia of the gym, I would say try and either get a PT or coach, try and go with a friend to the gym if you want to go to the gym, or just try and get like an induction of some kind to get like a basic understanding of some of the machines, and then just stick with what you know for now and then build up from there. But again, like, what people will do is they wait to January, they go, right, new year, new me, try and do everything at once, try and go to the gym 7 days a week. And then they'll get stuck, and then they'll be like, right, I've burnt myself out. I still feel silly because I don't know what I'm doing in the gym. I feel like everyone's looking at me. I'm going to quit. Like, there's no point. It's not working for me. But that's the worst thing that you can do, is like try and go 100% all out. You want to be 30, 40% is more than enough just to get started. See what you can do, and then build from there. Like, you're only going to learn the more you kind of ask questions and build knowledge along the way.
Absolutely. So hopefully that's helped Shane. Shane has given 2 more comments explaining what has happened. So he did say he likes the gym, he loved going, but the PT fat shamed him in front of a group of people. It was very rude. And then the second comment is, I really asked for a bit of help as I wasn't sure what was right and what wasn't. And because he wouldn't help, he said, "You're too fat to help, go away." Is that something that is that's obviously very negative and very inappropriate to be saying? Is that another pet peeve of yours, Adam?
Yeah. And again, like, you will find there's a lot of PTs that get into the job because all they want is to be able to wear the non-uniform. Like, the trainers, they want to just be able to walk around drinking coffee and protein shakes all day. They don't care about their clients, or they don't care about the gym members. And I've heard awful things being said about gym members and stuff as well from other PTs. Like, there's people that aren't made for the business and they just want to get into it because it's seen as an easy job. But it's only when you start getting into it that it's really not as easy as it looks. Like, you have to care about everyone in the gym. Like, you have to help everyone in the gym. I got noticed very quickly in the gym group when I first started there, because all I did was help people. Like, I may not have spoken to everyone, but I made sure that everyone had a smile. Everyone had like a hello as they came through the door, as I walked past them. I was interactive, but not too interactive, like getting in your face kind of thing. So yeah, like with the fat shaming and stuff, absolutely don't agree with it. Like, I would never agree with it in any case. And it's funny you said that, actually, because the client that I was talking about earlier that lost all the weight, she actually went to the gym that we train at, and she overheard one of the PTs there say something similar with that side of things. Wasn't to her, but she was on a machine next to this PT saying stuff. And she complained to the manager about it and got an apology out of it. But the point is, it shouldn't have been said regardless, like on the gym floor, outside the gym floor, wherever it is. But unfortunately, there are some PTs that they think they're holier and mightier than other people. So they think if you're fatter or bigger or whatever than someone that's doing bodybuilding, like, you're beneath them kind of thing, which isn't the case at all. It's again just finding those PTs that actually do care and want to help people. And there is enough of them as well. I've seen so many good PTs, so many online coaches that are really great, but I've also been on the receiving end of some people that don't as well. And that's coming from me as a PT as well. I've spoken to other PTs that again try and tear you down, but I've also seen PTs that want to pair up with you and work with you and stuff like that. Like I've had a really like best friend in PT before as well. So yeah, like it can go either way, but don't be put off by one or two people because it's not the whole industry.
Absolutely, mate. So anybody that is watching that wants to get in touch with Adam, if you follow the QR code just in the top right-hand corner, that is the link to Adam's Instagram page for his personal training. So make sure you go and check him out. And obviously under Adam's name, as you can see, he's got a link to his Instagram as well at Wrestling Inspired Fit Mind. So yeah, guys, make sure you go and check him out. Shane, I'm really sorry to hear that you went through that, bud. I hope that you obviously get to where you wanted to go. I know that Adam's going to help you massively with what you need to get to. So what would you say, Adam, if you could pick a wrestler, past or present, to work with, who would you pick?
Well, my favorite wrestler is CM Punk. He has mentioned a few mental health things in the past. However, I do think from recent bias, one that springs to mind massively is AJ Lee. So after she mentioned about like all of the getting therapy and stuff like that, and she was a huge advocate on a huge stage, and she talked about it and even got people chanting therapy, which again, it's great to chant and it's not accessible to everyone. So it's important to remember that, yes, it's great to get the support and the help, but sometimes it's not just a case of just applying and getting it. You've got to take some actions before that. You can take the actions and apply for it, but in the meantime, while you're on the waiting list or whatever it is, you need to try and do something. It's not easy. It's like people have different levels of mental health. Like some really like lower and you can still do stuff, some much higher and it's like almost crippling as well. It forces you to not be able to do anything. So just focus on small steps. Don't try and do absolutely everything, but as long as you've tried reaching out to someone, like whether it's online or whether it's a therapist or counselor or CBT sessions and stuff like that, can help potentially. I don't know how much they help like long term, but again, like try and get some kind of activity in, because again, fitness isn't going to change absolutely everything, but by getting more active, more movement, eating better, drinking more water, and getting better sleep as well. Like it sounds very straightforward, and some people, this isn't going to be a case of just like it's sorted, but it's going to definitely help you get in the right direction as well. So just because it doesn't work within a week, like keep trying, because it's like you're not going to fix everything in a week. Like you didn't get overweight within a week, you got overweight within years. You didn't spiral into depression, anxiety in a week. It's taken years. So you're not going to get out of it in a week. You've got to take months, years, maybe even longer as well, because it's harder because you've got all the potential PTSD and the traumas and stuff as well that go with it that you're then fighting back against as well. So just be patient with yourself, I would say, is the biggest thing. Like, and again, like AJ Lee did it perfectly with that promo. So
Absolutely, mate. We've got another couple of comments from Shane. Do appreciate you putting the comments in, Shane. Don't think that you're bothering us at all. He says, was after I had major operation, that's how I put the weight on. So I went to lose my weight. It wasn't helpful at all. He was not bothered. He was too busy flirting with some young girls to care. Now, I do myself go to the gym. I've been going to the gym for a couple of months, and I do experience this. I tried to reach out to one of the PTs, and his response to me was, "You're not a female. Go away." That was his response. That his own clientele was women. And Shane has also put that some men don't like to reach out. Though, what sort of advice would you give to someone in Shane's situation that feels as though he can't approach a PT because he's worried? Would it just be a case of building his confidence back up, do you think?
Yeah, I think again it's just finding the right people. So again, if you go to that PT that was just looking for the women and the girls and stuff, they clearly only have one thing on their mind, and they fit into the bracket of a bad PT that doesn't want to help people in general. I will always try and help someone regardless of if I'm qualified. Like, not if I'm not qualified, like I won't go and take them on with that side of things. but I'll still kind of like offer some help and guidance and even just listen as well. Like the easiest thing people need to do more of is just listen to people. Like so many people are scared of mental health side of things that they won't even talk about it, which I think is what Shane's trying to say here as well, is like he's just trying to speak about his mental health struggles and his problems and stuff, and a bit like what you mentioned as well, like you just wanted some physical support as well. And again, like I think it takes support from other men sometimes to help with the men's problems, but that's not solely fixed on that. So you can talk to other women for that as well. Unfortunately, with this PT, like, yes, I'm going to play a little devil's advocate a little bit. So if he only trains women and you're not his perfect match, then that's absolutely fine. Like, he doesn't have to train someone like that, but he should have steered you in the direction of someone that does, rather than just pushing you away and kind of like sending you into the abyss kind of thing. That's what a good PT would do, is like, I'm not qualified or I'm not interested in teaching you, but this person is, and I can guide you in that direction. So again, that's what I think should have been done. And then in Shane's case as well, he just clearly got this wrong PT. They clearly aren't interested in anyone that is bigger or needs to lose weight. I would guess that you probably got someone that was more of like a body stage prep person, because again, they don't really care so much. I'm kind of generalizing here based on what I've seen, but a lot of them don't seem to care about people that are overweight and kind of like maybe seen as not serious enough. They want the people that are already motivated, that have driven goals, that want to get the six pack, that want to get as lean as possible. And again, like, there's nothing wrong with that, but it just means that you found the wrong person to PT with. But that's where the clash comes in, is because you've kind of seen that person and they've pushed you away. You've kind of generalized all PTs and coaches like that as well. But there are so many good coaches out there, like in person, online as well. I know a few people as well. So if there's anyone that isn't interested in like wrestling or like my coaching side of things, if they've got like a common interest that they do want to find more of, again, I'm part of a mentorship. I've been part of other mentorships, so I know loads of PTs and my coaches. I can steer you in the right direction to a good coach that I think would help you. And I've done that in the past as well. So similarly, on that note, is one of my clients has a girlfriend, and she doesn't want a male coach. So I didn't take any offense to that. I was like, completely understand, like, things happen. Like, you don't necessarily want, oh, not even things happen. It's just maybe you want someone that can actually relate to you. So I can't necessarily relate to every woman or female that I've got on their coaching, but it might be that I can steer them into the right categories or the right videos and stuff to do that. So I suggested someone else for this person. She didn't go with that person, but if someone else within my gym that she could have helped. So yeah, it's just, I think, sorry to hear that obviously like you got fat shamed in front of a group of people, especially like the PT should have known much better. Like, there's no acceptable excuse for like fat shaming anyway, but in front of other people, it was probably to boost his own ego and like try and show off in front of the girls as well. So not acceptable. But again, he was probably doing it for himself. And then that brings me on to the before and after photos and stuff as well. A lot of coaches will get you reducing your carbs, reducing your calories, and doing unsafe amounts to lose the weight as quickly as possible, so that you can get the best results possible. So then you can be used as a before and after photo for their post. So then that gets them more clients and that spins the wheel around for them. Again, like, I will use before and afters occasionally, only if they're good and they've kind of been sustainable. So usually it's like a year's worth of change or whatever. I'm not going to put something up necessarily that's been a few months and they've dropped like 5 stone or whatever. Like, there's no point, like, it's not sustainable. So I will always make sure that the things that I share are honest, sustainable, and not photoshopped, not filtered. Like, everything that you see on my page is like purely how it came. The only things that might have slight effects are like potential reels and stuff if I'm doing it for an effect for whatever reason, but that's not on someone else's before and after. So yeah, I would say just find the right people within the industry.
Absolutely. So Shane's put another comment about the PT in question. Says he's still at that gym and still does it. He's the owner's son and runs the gym, even complaining to CEO. I got a complaint that was rude. It's up to the PT. It's their choice. So obviously it is going to be quite a deep-seated problem that's going to be with that gym, with this PT in particular, with it being the owner's son. So how would you go about to resolve this issue, really, Adam? Like, is there any advice you could give Shane?
It's a difficult one because I wouldn't say you should have to move gym. Like, it shouldn't be that's the reason for moving gym. But it might be that if you're in the same environment and that's a toxic environment around that PT, then potentially that might be the cause of many problems within the gym. Because maybe you've got the phobia of the gym because you're stepping in thinking like, right, I'm going to see this PT today. As soon as they see me, they're going to pull me into that group again and probably laugh at me. So I think that's probably where your phobia's coming from. I would say maybe don't leave that gym, but maybe get like a day pass at another gym near you. And then you could potentially try getting like just a day pass to see how it goes. If you feel more comfortable and a little bit more secure and like you kind of can work things out without feeling like there's a load of people watching. But yeah, the owner's son running the gym, like that just says it all. Like, you're not going to get anywhere with a complaint, unfortunately. And yes, it may be up to the PTs for their choice of what they do, but at the same time, that's not going to be good customer service. Again, like, not trying to push what you do, but I would write a Google review and like put a negative experience on there so that you save other people having to experience that as well. If they're going to take the good compliments, they're going to take the bad ones as well. And that's something that we all have to learn, is not everyone's going to be nice. So you have to take some of the bad like comments and stuff and the feedback as well. See it as feedback. But yeah, I would say if you don't want to be with that PT, then look for another PT or coach. However, if it's that gym that's causing the phobias, I would say the biggest thing is potentially look at another space just to see, like, test it, just to see if like you've still got those phobias, or whether you step in there. Or you don't even have to go for a full day pass. You could even just go for a tour and just say, oh, I'm just looking for a new gym. I'm not quite confident in the gym. Can you kind of guide me around what to do and stuff? And like, do I get an induction? And just make a list of questions that you can quiz them on. Because again, like any good company would have all the answers there, like with all of their members of staff. Any bad members of staff would just focus on trying to take the payment, trying to get you in as quickly as possible, and trying to sign you up as quickly as possible as well. Doesn't care about your goals, doesn't care about what you want to be doing. It's just like, oh yeah, just come and do it so we can hit our gym targets and stuff as well.
Absolutely. Another two comments from Shane. Firstly, saying he's tried looking into gastric sleeve to lose weight, but he wants to do it with healthy weight. And then secondly, he's now banned from that gym and scared to go in case he gets the same. I think that what you're probably best off doing, Shane, is messaging Adam personally so that he can obviously go through this with you, just so that we're not taking up too much time with this, because Adam has a client at 7 o'clock. So we're going to push on with the questions, bud. We're going to get into the mental health side of things, if that's okay with you.
Yeah. Thank you, Shane, for the questions, though. They were good.
Absolutely, Shane. Absolutely. Thank you so much for the questions in the comments, bud. Like I say, if you want to message Adam personally, just so that obviously you can get a bit more of a personal reply from Adam, sort of thing. But yeah, we'll do a quick transition and then we'll go into the mental health questions. So, Adam, would you say that there's been a specific rock bottom moment or turning point that made you realise that you needed to prioritise your mental well-being at all?
Yes, very much so. So, surprisingly enough, it was just before my wedding. So what was meant to be, well, it still was the happiest day of my life, but the build up to it wasn't. So I was working a night shift job at Tesco, doing a night manager. That was by far the lowest my mental health has been. I was doing a good 26 to 30,000 steps an evening, easily, maybe even more. Then I was then going to the gym after and completely burning even more calories. My food side of things was awful. So I'd be living on meal deals, cereal, small portions of pasta. Like, I had no idea I wouldn't have no idea, but I just wasn't prioritizing the things I was meant to be doing. But in terms of mental health side of things, it affected me stress wise because I was trying to save for a wedding. I was getting very bad quality sleep because I was sleeping through the day and then going to work 10 in the evening through to 7 in the morning, plus a load of overtime after that as well. So sometimes I'd be doing 12, 15-hour shifts kind of thing. It was just ridiculous. And then be expected to come back and do the same thing the next night. My manager as well was someone, imagine like a Lord Alan Sugar. Like, he looked exactly like him and kind of acted like him, but he would scream and shout, and like he would actually get, not to me personally, but if someone he didn't like caused a problem, he would get right up in their face, scream at their face and be like, what are you going to do, kind of thing. He would throw things across the warehouse, like try and intimidate people. And that's what I was dealing with, kind of like locked into Tesco, like trying to deal with overnight kind of thing. So you got him as like the main manager that's meant to be like the lead example. You had like 3 or 4 of us team managers, and then you had like lower level people that were like shelf fillers and stuff. But we were kind of like stuck between the middle. So it was like we had him having to go at us saying like they're not working hard enough, they're not doing this, they're not doing that. But then they're kind of rebelling against him because he's kicking off and stuff. So for me, mentally, that was very draining because it was just like you're just fighting against people. You're in the middle of everything. You're expected so much to do. You're trying to save for all this other stuff. You're trying to plan all this other stuff. And yeah, like bearing in mind now I'm about 85 kilos, my weight went down to about 60 kilos. So yeah, I was about 9 stone. And for me, I looked anorexic. I wasn't anorexic, but for me, in what I looked like, it was way too thin. So yeah, that was definitely the worst point, and I will never be going back to anything like that. But that's what drives me as well, is I've always got a photo there that I share with people as well if they're looking to gain muscle and gain weight. I put that there and show them where I was and compared to where I am now, just to show them that it doesn't have to be that way. And surprisingly enough, you actually need to eat more calories as well. So yes, obviously I'm gaining weight, but as you're trying to lose fat, you also need to kind of build your calories up. So these 1,200 to 1,400 calorie diets don't work because you end up getting starved. You end up kind of feeling like rubbish. So you need to match your calories based on your lifestyle, your work, and everything like that as well. And I wasn't doing that. So my physical and mental health really suffered because of it.
Absolutely, bud. So if we're going to using fitness as a tool, how has the consistent physical training personally helped you managing your anxiety, depression, and any other challenges that you faced?
So I've seen a huge change just being consistent with my own program. Again, with like my PT side of things, I got to a point where I was very busy, and I actually put my business over my own training needs and everything. So I wasn't doing my workouts. I was then trying to tell people to do their workouts and essentially being a hypocrite as well. Like, I kind of worked out very quickly that I wasn't working out. My mental health was suffering there as well. All I was focused on was more business, more money, like more clients, like just trying to make something of it. And then I kind of forgot about everything that I should have been doing as well for myself. So now I make sure that I've got an hour or 2 hours blocked out. I put it on Do Not Disturb to make sure that, like, if I want to answer messages, I can do. But within that time, no one is allowed to message me unless I kind of like respond. Like, they can still message me, but I'll get back to it after. So it's about protecting my energy and my health. And that's the biggest thing that I think helped my anxiety and confidence as well, is realizing that if I'm going to help people, I need to be able to help myself before I help others. And that also goes for the same for people that are looking after their kids or like people they're caring for and stuff. You've got to look after yourself, as well as looking after them as well. But if you're not looking after yourself, then you're going to eventually put yourself into an illness that you can't look after them. So it's about building that up alongside it. Again, not easy. None of this is easy. But it's just you live and you learn along the way of like what you should and shouldn't do. I've made a load of mistakes, which is what I'm trying to then instill into my coaching so that I then don't have clients and followers and audience and stuff like that then make the same mistakes. So you can kind of learn from me as to like what I did wrong.
Okay, mate. So obviously for anyone that is watching who's struggling with their mental health, whether that's for physical motivation or anything like that. What would you say is the best the very first smallest step that you would advise them to take?
I would say focus on your steps. So a lot of people, again, they try and get straight into a gym. They try and do like a insanity workout, or they try and just completely beast their body so that they feel like they've done something productive. And then they start feeling like they're injured, they're in pain, they're kind of not able to move. So I would say walking is the best thing to start getting movement. Not only can it help you get in a calorie deficit, so then you can lose some weight, it can also build up your leg muscles, so then you're pumping blood around the body. It's also going to boost your positive hormones, so you'll then start feeling better and mentally and physically more active as well. But also try and get the walking out in the sun if you can as well. So not just inside locked away kind of thing. If that's all you can manage for now, then definitely start with that. I would say if you can't go outside, what I've invested in recently is a sunrise lamp. So especially in these darker months, like if I don't want to go outside, I've still got the sunrise lamp there that will give me normal lighting. It's not as good as normal sunlight, so if you can get out, I would say walking outside would be the best thing. If you've got a dog, take them out more often, especially through the middle of the day where you've got a bit more sun or light at least. And yeah, I would say just start off small with small steps. People try and do everything at once as opposed to like a 2% or a 5% better than what they were doing a couple of weeks ago. But they don't want to do that because they feel like they're wasting time. But what's wasting time is not doing anything or doing everything and then going back to nothing again.
Completely, mate. So, sort of following on from our quick discussion with Shane, you're helping people get physically stronger, but often the biggest barrier is the internal dialogue. Obviously, what goes off in the head, the shame, self-doubt, or comparison with others. How do you help a client address and reframe that negative inner critic during a challenging workout session?
It's funny you say that, actually, because a couple of months ago, we actually did a session with my clients, and it was a free session, so anyone was welcome. But we actually did it on our inner critics. So I basically got them to, in their own, like they got paper at home, so they didn't have to share it or anything if they didn't want to. But some people did as well. That helped kind of people feel more confident. But they would write down the things, maybe like 3 to 5 things that they don't like about themselves, that people have said about them in the past, that they constantly feel are like nagging things that are like causing them a problem. And then what you do is put that into ChatGPT and say, I want you to create a character, a cartoon character or a Muppet character with these traits, like negative towards me, and make it look silly or something like that. And then it comes out with this like ridiculous looking image. So then when you kind of start looking at this inner critic of like, these are the things that you hate about yourself normally, or other people might hate about you, or whatever the feelings are, you can kind of like laugh back at it and go, well, that's associated with this ridiculous looking thing with the big nose, like acne all over their face or something like that. Like things that like obviously you may not like about yourself, but then the picture makes it a little bit more bearable. Again, it's not going to be something that fixes everyone, but some people find a little bit of like peace with it as well. So again, one of my clients, they don't like the way they look, their facial features and stuff. So for them, they called themselves ugly. And this whole kind of like a Peaky Blinders character came out, I think it was. So it was like a very British like man with like a flat cap kind of thing, like very rugged looking. And that was the inner critic. So that helped that person feel a bit more comfortable, because then she could rip that person apart. Like obviously it's a fake person, but then it makes you feel better that you're picking on something else that isn't going to hurt anyone, but you're then going, well, you're calling me these things, but I can call you these things as well. It goes 2 ways. But I think the biggest thing with inner critics as well is try not to avoid it. So a lot of people will kind of just go, oh, that's just who I am, or that's just what I've got, or that's just the cards I've been dealt. But people will always be horrible. Like just the other day, I had a couple of messages on my account as well. They weren't necessarily a critic about me, but they were a critic about like the things that I do on the page regarding mental health and stuff as well. And I took a screenshot, and it's going to be something that I post as a piece of content at some point, because the thing that they said was ridiculous to the point I laughed. They were basically saying that I shouldn't help people with mental health conditions, shouldn't be talking about it and stuff. And I was like, well, I am qualified to talk about it. I may not be qualified to do loads more detail, but I'm qualified to talk about it and help people make some adjustments. And surprise, surprise, they blocked me before I could even reply. So again, it's one of those things. People will be horrible to you all the time, and you potentially will be horrible to yourself. But by taking actions to step away from that and kind of, it's something that I've struggled with as well. Like, I've always talked down myself. Like, I've always felt like I need to be talking more. I've always kind of wondered like whether I'm doing the right thing in terms of PT, because again, there's so many bad PTs and coaches in the industry that it makes it look like I'm one of those bad ones just because I'm part of the industry. But really, when you kind of start getting to talk to me and engage with me online, you'll realize that I'm actually there to help you. I'm not going to force you into anything you don't want to do. But at the same time, it's one of those things where I think your inner critic will help you a lot more by learning the things that I'm trying to share with you.
Absolutely, bud. So, obviously, for many people, mental health struggles can manifest as an unhealthy focus on such as like perfectionism or rapid physical change. How would you define the concept of progress and success for your clients so it prioritizes a sustainable mental wellness over purely aesthetic goals?
So again, it goes back to like the weight loss side of things earlier. Like, a lot of them want to just lose the weight and don't really think about anything else. But that's where I think the perfectionism kind of comes in, because a lot of people have that image of them of like when they were 10, 15 years younger, their perfect image of when they were a teenager or before they had kids or before they got into a stressful job or whatever. And they've got this ideal image in their head of like what they want to get to. Sometimes it might not be possible to get back to that, but it's one of those things where you work towards part of it. But your goals are ever changing as well. So as much as you try and be perfect towards things, something's going to change all the time anyway. So a lot of my clients, they start off with wanting to lose as much weight as possible, but then they kind of get to a point where they're just like, okay, I'm happy now. I could lose more weight, but now I want to build my confidence in the gym, and I want to try new things, and I want to learn new things. One of my clients is potentially actually looking to do her PT qualification as well. So potentially down the future, like, I would love to have her as like an apprentice kind of thing as well. It's just one of those things I'm not sure whether I'm able to do at the moment. But again, it's one of those things where it becomes, rather than focusing on everything perfectly and thinking like you can't make any mistakes, like the best thing to do is to start and make mistakes, and then you learn from them along the way. So again, like between now and January, people are going to be like, oh, I can't start now because I've got Christmas, I've got the kids, I've got presents to pay for, I've got loads of nights out. So they won't start until January. And then they've got not only the weight they're putting on now, not only the weight they're putting on across the Christmas period, but then they're starting in January, probably 8 to 10 pounds heavier, less confident because their clothes don't fit. They feel rubbish after Christmas. They haven't done anything in 2 months. Whereas if they started a little bit now, they would get some kind of confidence and some kind of progress built. That then gives you a buffer for Christmas to kind of like relax a little bit and enjoy it. So then, yes, you will take a few steps backwards, but you'll start January at about 30% better off than if you started completely fresh at 0%. So yeah, I would say it's always about doing something rather than nothing, rather than trying to think of like 10 different things you want to fix in January. So.
Definitely. So there's a quote in there's obviously a lot of quotes in the gym that I go to, but one in particular that stands out to me, it says progress is better than success. Do you think that is pretty accurate, or is there a different sort of like slogan that you could come up with?
Progress is better than success. I would say progress can lead to success, but again, success looks different for everyone. So I would say a little bit of progress each time is much beneficial. So yeah, like I would agree with that statement, in the fact that you're probably not going to be successful for a long time, if ever, because again, like you're just constantly going to be chasing that golden ladder. It's not golden ladder, glass ceiling. Close enough. But like every time you get towards the glass ceiling, your goals are going to change again, and then you'll be lower down. So the progress is still developing, but because your goals have changed, you've just increased that ceiling up a little bit more. So I was talking to a client earlier today, actually, and he had this fun like idea, which could be used for a challenge as well. But this kind of like goes within the challenge side of things as well. But you could do like 10 squats, for example, and then he said it was almost like an escape room. So you have to do 10 squats to get through to the next stage. And then you have to do 10 squats and 10 push-ups, and then so on and so on. So you're building up along the way. But the progress is building because you're then getting stronger as you go. Success isn't about reaching the end goal as fast as possible. It's making sure you're making changes along the way, and developing as well. So if we put it another way, if we looked at the weight loss medications and the jabs and stuff like that, success for some people would be to go on that and just lose the weight as quickly as possible, which for some people, absolutely they need it. For a lot of people, I don't think they do. I think it's a quick fix thing that they just think is going to fix all their problems. But there's a load of health implications, and there's a load of, well, if you don't build up habits and things along the way to help with that, you're not building your progress. So yes, you hit the success, but you're going to hit that ceiling very quickly. And then you're going to be like, right, I don't know what to do. I don't know how many calories to eat. I haven't been to the gym, so I still don't know what I'm doing there. I'm still on 2,000 steps a day. It's more just the jab that got the weight loss done. So I'm not making any progress. I've just hit the success. So yeah, absolutely, with the like the progress leading to success. So I can't think of anything motivational off the top of my head with like a statement. But yeah, I do like that one that you said.
It's fantastic, mate. So obviously we spoke about the PT side of things, but I want to talk about you personally now, mate. So obviously if you're having a bad day with your mental health and what have you, what are sort of like the mental and physical actions that you will put in place for you to sort of like bring yourself back towards the light, so to paraphrase?
Yeah. This is something you probably might not even expect, but I actually let myself have that day where I just almost fall into that pit for a little while. So sometimes I do manage to get out of it, and sometimes it just takes a bit of a workout or a bit of walking to kind of like clear my head a little bit. Sometimes it's just like, I really cannot be bothered today. I'm stressed, I'm overworked, I'm overwhelmed, and everything's just got too much. So I will have days where I just sit there like I've got a gaming chair in front of the TV in the lounge. I just sit there. I might do messages and stuff, but I will just sit there and watch TV all day. I'm a big food eater. So again, like you've got a PT here that's not telling you to eat chicken, rice and veg. Like I'm having pizza most weeks, if not every week. So I'm expecting like all my clients and everyone else to have some kind of pizza or sweet treat. So I would say as long as it's something that's not going to escalate and snowball into like a week-long thing of like constant like spiraling, I would say for myself, I embrace like just a day or a few hours or so where I kind of just go, okay, I'm giving myself this time to relax, because I'm not very good at relaxing. So when I need to relax, it's almost like it's my body forcing me to. So yeah, I will give myself that time. It doesn't happen very often, but maybe once every so often, I just sit there and I'm like, right, today I'm just going to play my Xbox or PlayStation. Today I'm just going to watch wrestling all day. Today I'm going to watch like YouTube podcasts and stuff. And because I don't do it very often, the guilt kind of like disappears, because it's like, well, I work hard so many other days along the week. I need that time to kind of like recover myself as well. Again, going back to like looking after myself so I can look after other people. Where it comes into a problem is if I was spiraling today and then tomorrow I still don't get up and I still don't do stuff, and I'm still watching wrestling and playing PlayStation 5 days later, that's when it's becoming a problem, because otherwise that's going to impact my work. I think the other thing that helps me as well is I like to be busy. So I will have PT sessions or some kind of like online coaching element of something every day, pretty much. So yes, I will occasionally have a full day off, but I've normally got at least 1 or 2 PT sessions a day. I've normally got a workshop Monday or Tuesday evening or something. I play football Wednesday evenings. So I've always got something to be doing rather than just sitting there. And I do find as well, the longer I sit there doing nothing, the worse I feel. So yes, there are times where I do feel worse, but it's because I've just sat there doing nothing. Whereas I'm used to kind of like staying up doing, like, not staying up late, but like staying up and doing stuff, moving around, messaging people, thinking of new posts that are going to like help people, thinking of like what I can do next. And yeah, like I'm constantly thinking about something. So when I need that break, I take it. But I think that's where people go not wrong, but I think they struggle to get out of it because they give themselves that break, but then they're not quite sure how to get back out of it. So then they spiral because they're like, well, I'm going to skip the gym today, and then I skip the gym tomorrow, and then suddenly it's all the rest of the week, and then I'll start again Monday, but then it's just like, oh, I've now gained 5 pounds, so now I feel rubbish about myself straight away. So yeah, I would say with that side of things, it's just keeping myself busy.
Definitely. So, if you are going through like a tough spot or a thing, like if you're going through a dark moment, do you have a sort of like a support system? Like, do you talk to your family, to your missus, to your friends? Who would you say that you rely on most of all?
I would say I talk to my wife. It's quite handy that she's training in psychology, so she understands quite a lot about mental health side of things already. I've got my client group as well, which I think again, being biased, but I think that's what makes my client group so much better than any other group that I've seen, because they know that I work so much and kind of do as much as I can for them. So when I feel like I'm run down, I'm ill, I have to maybe rearrange sessions or whatever, I'll say to them, like, I'm just not feeling great today. And they're just like, absolutely fine. Like, you've done so much and absolutely fine. It doesn't happen often, but they are a good support network as well, in the fact that, like, if I wanted to, I can put in the group and say, I'm feeling a bit low today. I've also got my mentors as well. So when it comes to business side of things, if I'm feeling a bit low, I can put a message in there and get some support as well. So I know there are kind of like charity groups and stuff around. I haven't been to them personally, just because I don't feel like I am someone that struggles as bad. Like, some people definitely, like, you've got some struggles and stuff that you definitely need help with. And if you can't get counseling, or if you can't afford any coaching or anything like that, then a charity organization that's willing to help is definitely something to look forward to and like look into. There's definitely some around me. So I know that in the Crawley, West Sussex area, there are definitely some around there. I would assume there's other stuff around the UK and stuff as well. So it's just reaching out to your local council, finding, like, there's sometimes men only groups, there's sometimes women only groups, there's some that are like maybe hobby or like potential situations based on mental health struggles and stuff. So again, it's just finding the right group, I think, to confide in. And again, that's something that I pride myself with my client group, is anything can be said. Like, it doesn't matter if someone feels like it might be a silly question or a silly idea, put it in the group chat anyway, because we're there to support each other. It's not there to be mocking or anything like that. We're there to help each other grow.
Fantastic, mate. So yeah, there's a couple of links in the description, guys, to anyone that wants to reach out to these companies. Also, me personally, I am a member, which gave me a wristband off, of Andy's Man Club. Andy's Man Club is a non-profit organisation that also helps with men's mental health, primarily targets men's mental health for that particular reason. It's a fantastic group, guys. So if you are feeling low, make sure you reach out to Andy's Man Club, go to one of their sessions. If you search andysmanclub.co.uk and put in your postcode, it will show you your local Andy's Man Club session. It is every Monday apart from bank holidays, 7 p.m. while 9 p.m. If you can't get to a session in person, they also offer over the internet advice as well. But as Adam has said, you can always reach out to Adam if you are struggling, sort of thing. So what would you say, Adam, is your goal for your PT business sort of thing? What's the goal for the next year?
So I'd really like to grow my online coaching side of things. Like, I'm still happy with my PT. I still want in-person clients because I really enjoy seeing like the social and the in-person aspect of it. We do meetups and stuff every 3 months as well. So then that gives us a chance to kind of like include each other, get to know each other, like break barriers, build comfort zones, break comfort zones, build comfort in with each other people. But online coaching, like, I'd really love to kind of like, I started a few clients early on in the process of this page, but unfortunately they kind of like dropped off after a while. So I'd like to build up I've called it like the WIFM roster. So a bit like a wrestling roster kind of thing. So I'd like to have a roster of my own like online coaching clients, as it were, that we're almost like a wrestling brand kind of thing, but for coaching. So whenever someone joins the coaching side of things, I give them their own post on Instagram, their own photo, like their favorite wrestling music and stuff, and like their name on there saying like a bit like AEW does, like so and so is all elite. It's like so and so is part of WIFM. So that for me, I really want to grow a really strong client base online where we can have wrestling fans like building together, building their mental health, building their physical health, building their confidence, having a safe space where they don't feel like they are alone as well. So I do have some mental health and exercise coaching clients as well, that some of them I've never met, because like one of them lives in Wales, for example, and they have found so much benefit from my group, and we've never even met. Like, she's never met any of my people, but just based off the information and the support that we offer, she's really found it life-changing. Excuse me, I've got something in my throat. But yeah, that's what I would love to get on a larger scale with wrestling fans. So by all means, I'll still take other people on that aren't wrestling fans, but I would love to have a huge community of wrestling fans where we can do like watch parties. We can kind of do like Zoom meetings talking about the wrestling and also mental health and exercise, because I can't necessarily do that with some of my clients at the moment. Like I do workshops and stuff as well online, but I can't really put the wrestling references in there for some of them because they wouldn't get it or they wouldn't be interested. So at the moment, the ones that I do are very generalized, but if I had a bigger community of wrestling fans, that's where I would then do a separate thing for that as well. So then it's more personalized. But yeah, like the aim, the real goal would be like 50 online clients, like building up with wrestling fans. So then we've got a whole strong community where everyone feels safe and like heard with everything as well. So yeah, that'd be amazing.
Definitely, mate. So as we start to wind down, bud, got some quick fire questions for you, mate, and then I'm going to give you the final question.
Yeah, sure.
So what is your favorite finishing move of all time?
Or people might be a bit skeptical of this one, but I really like the F5, Brock Lesnar's F5. I just think it always looks so powerful. So
What's your favorite entrance music of all time?
oh, it's got to be CM Punk's Cult of Personality.
So if you were a wrestler and you were to do a move, what move would you do?
I feel like I'd like to try the 619 just because I think it looks so out there, and I feel like, I don't know, I feel like I'd give it a good try or fall out the ring, whichever one.
Which do you think is better, WrestleMania or the Royal Rumble?
That's a really tough one. I'm going to say Royal Rumble. I really like the surprise entrance.
If you could have a match with any wrestler, past or present, not CM Punk, who would it be?
Oh, I don't know. We'll go with John Cena. I'll be the last time is now winner.
What's your favorite cheap meal?
Pizza, 100%.
What kind of pizza?
Pepperoni. No pineapple or anything like that. No rubbish like
that. What's the one film you could watch over and over again?
100% Step Brothers. Classic.
Got some this or that questions. Stone Cold or The Rock?
The Rock.
DX or NWO?
DX.
Attitude Era or Ruthless Aggression?
Ruthless Aggression.
Sting or Undertaker?
Undertaker.
Lucha Libre or Strong Style?
I quite like the strong style, I think. I like both, but strong style, I think, is a bit more. Yeah.
Okay. What's the most shocking moment you've seen in wrestling?
I think probably the Undertaker's streak being beaten. I think it's like quite a cop-out answer. It's like one that everyone probably says, but I think that was just such a shock in itself.
Absolutely, mate. So, final question for you, Adam. I like to end this one on a bit of a positive note, just because obviously it can get a bit dark with this thing. For me, for you, buddy, who is on your Mount Rushmore of wrestling?
Okay, John Cena's definitely on there. I'm gonna have to go CM Punk. Like, he's just on there. People aren't gonna like this one, but Chris Jericho, I think he's great. Again, like I wasn't really part of like the Hulk Hogan, Stone Cold Steve Austin era, so I'm gonna say Triple H. I think he's made a lot of like benefits and stuff towards all this. And we'll go with Eddie Guerrero. A lot of people are going to probably like disagree with a lot of them, but that's my personal one.
It's a personal one, mate, entirely up to you, buddy. So yeah, guys, is it for today's episode of the Unseen Battles. We'll send a massive thank you to Adam for joining us today, buddy. To close us out, mate, if you want to plug anything, obviously your Instagram is in the description below. It's also on the QR code just above my head. If you want to plug anything, if you want to say anything, get anything off your chest, feel free, bud, and we'll end the stream.
Perfect. Feel free to follow me on my Instagram if you haven't already. Wrestling Inspired Fit Mind. I do free Zoom workshops every Tuesday. So if anyone wants to come and join, like there's coaching involved with that, but it's always going to be completely free. It gives you a taste of like what I'm like as a person, how I talk to my clients and everyone in the audience on the Zoom call. And then if you decide you ever want coaching or anything like that, you can reach out in a separate DM. But the Zoom workshops will always be free regardless. The only other thing I was thinking of as well was if anyone's in the UK and would like an in-person PT that isn't myself, because I might not be in the area, search up Mental Health and Exercise Academy on Instagram. That has basically the whole register of mental health and exercise coaching qualified coaches. And you won't regret going with one of them instead of just a normal PT, because they are all trained like I am in the fact of caring more for your confidence and your mental health than just for like your physical health. So they've got them all over the place. So just search up your area. I think they've got a Facebook group as well, so you can always post in there saying, I'm in Manchester, who's the closest nearby? And again, someone will divert someone to you if they're close enough. But thank you. Thank you for having me on.
Yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on, Adam. So yeah, guys, make sure you go check Adam out and on his Instagram and everything. It's been an absolute pleasure having Adam on today. And as always, guys, remember, it's okay to talk. Let's get mental health being a vocal point in everyone's lives. And we'll see you guys later.